Right now at 6, we are tracking alert day conditions for Sunday. We're going to take us through the entirety of our latest storm in the full forecast.
And fluctuating temperatures have made ice conditions unpredictable and dangerous. The Lake Water Rescue Team is sharing safety tips for the ice. And the trip of a lifetime for Mount Horeb School Music Department. How the school's band will be ringing in the new year in London. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ellie La Liberté. Jalen Banks has the weekend off. Well, let's start by getting a look at your first warn forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. And Blaze, it looks like we're getting ready for another snowstorm.
That's right. As we are getting or coming off of the holiday weekend, keep that in mind, folks. If you do have to send friends or family back home, or you're going to be traveling yourself across the Midwest, further to the east, we should be fine on Sunday. If you're going to be, say, traveling into parts of Michigan or sending friends and family back home into Indiana. But if you're going to be sticking around here, I would do it sooner rather than later. The rain is going to be the primary precipitation through most of the daytime hours on Sunday, but then that is going to turn over to not only a mix, but then eventually snow, winds picking up out of the northwest. It is going to make for some pretty hard road conditions as we go further into Sunday, especially overnight into Monday. Winter weather advisory in the purple, winter storm warning there in the pink. Both will go into effect by later tomorrow afternoon and stay in effect through Monday afternoon. The peak of this system is going to be overnight Sunday into Monday. As temperatures drop and winds pick out of the northwest, we're going to be dealing with not only blowing snow, but drifting snow with gusts upwards of 45 to 50 miles per hour. Now, how much snow could we receive by the time things wrap up later Monday morning? We'll take a look at that in the full forecast.
Blaze, thank you. A person was pulled from the ice on Lake Mendota and taken to the hospital this morning. The Madison Police Department's Lake Rescue Team says the person fell through thin ice near Iota Court. Lake Rescue officials say area lakes may look safe, but as the temperatures have fluctuated recently, ice conditions have been unpredictable and dangerous. Our Nash Dara spoke to the Lake Water Rescue Team that assisted on Lake Mendota this morning and shows us what tools they used to get that person to safety.
Ellie, even though the weather has gotten warmer in the past few days, people are still out on the ice enjoying winter activities. But recent accidents have sparked some conversation about safety out on the lakes. Years in the past, ice on Lake Mendota would tend to clear much faster than other lakes in Dane County. And with the rescue this morning, that pattern looks like it will continue. Kirk Munden, an apparatus engineer with Fire Station 1 in Madison, was there this morning with the Lake Rescue Team, and he walked me through the steps of how they saved a life.
So our lieutenant made the decision to take our ladder truck here, which has our surface rescue items. We have an RDC, which is a rapid deployment craft, as well as our exposure chutes. The firefighters will put the exposure chutes on. I was the one that managed to blow up the RDC, and then we were able to make that rescue from shore for that person that fell through this morning.
The moral of the story is making sure to take that extra caution when out on the ice. For now, out at Lake Mendota, Nash Dara, News 3 Now.
Nash, thank you. The rescue team of roughly 45 members fields 60 to 70 calls per year, with a third of those coming during the winter months. And turning now to Rock County, where authorities are trying to figure out what killed 2 adults inside a home. Rock County Sheriff's deputies were performing a welfare check at a residence on Marsh Road in the town of Magnolia. That's near the Magnolia Advent Church. Inside, they found 2 adult-aged people dead. Deputies say there is no threat to the public as the investigation continues. A modified car is now a burnt metal husk. That's after it caught fire and engulfed an entire garage in flames in Columbus. Around 4 yesterday afternoon, the Columbus Fire Department responded to a home on Vista Circle, a neighborhood right across the highway from Crystal Ridge Golf Course. Flames were coming out of the garage and consuming the car. One person was sent to the hospital for his injuries. No firefighters were injured, and multiple surrounding agencies assisted in the response. And a Middleton man is in jail following a drunk driving crash for a 5th OWI offense. On Tuesday, officers were dispatched to the intersection between Park Street and Cooper Avenue. That's just after 1 p.m. for a single vehicle crash. Police say the driver, 45-year-old Taylor Aries, was the subject of multiple driving complaints before he crashed. He was taken to the Dane County Jail, and online court records show he was charged with unsafe deviation and failure to keep the vehicle under control. Well, in just about an hour, the Packers will be taking on the Ravens at home, but without Jordan Love. Senior Packers writer Jason Wilde is in Green Bay with how Malik Willis is preparing to step up.
Malik Willis doesn't know what his NFL journey would have looked like had the Packers not acquired him in a trade before last season. They gave up a 7th-round pick to the Tennessee Titans, who never quite understood what they had in Malik Willis. And then he came here and won 2 games as a starter when Jordan Love missed time at the start of the 2024 season with a knee injury, and he will make the start tonight with Love still in the concussion protocol and inactive. For Malik Willis, the journey has been remarkable, and one that he has put his faith in a higher power to lead him on.
I think it's just taking advantage of those times that weren't great and trusting in God's plan for my life and learning from each situation that I've been in and taking, all the good I could from it and just being able to get a chance to utilize it. I just didn't get a chance to get on the field, so you can't really say whether this offense, it made me get better or not. It's just I didn't have the chance to do anything.
While the Packers have already clinched a playoff berth, they can still win the NFC North with a win tonight against the Ravens, a win next week at Minnesota, and if the Chicago Bears lose both of their remaining games. You can read more about Malik Willis's journey in our 3 Things to Watch to get you ready for kickoff on channel3000.com. We'll also have immediate reaction right after the game ends and full coverage later tonight. In Green Bay at Lambeau Field, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
Thanks, Jason. The Dane County Regional Airport announced this morning that Delta Airlines will begin a new daily nonstop service between Madison and Boston Logan International Airport on June 7th. The announcement comes just 1 week after American Airlines announced plans to begin nonstop service on the same route, with both airlines beginning that service in June. Delta's nonstop service to Boston will include a mid-afternoon arrival from Boston at 3:53 p.m. and a 4:45 p.m. departure from the Dane County Regional Airport. Flight times are subject to change, but tickets are on sale now. And coming up on News 3 Now at 6, parts of the country weathered a snowstorm that threatened to bring a post-holiday blizzard. How it's impacting holiday travel. And later, peace talks between Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky and President Trump expected to take place in Florida tomorrow. What the deal could look like when we come back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Thanks for staying with us. Well, students from a nearby high school are heading overseas for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Our Maya Tate stopped by the Mount Horeb High School earlier today to talk to a few people going on that trip.
High school students from Mount Horeb's music department left today for London, where the group will be performing in London's New Year's Day parade. This will be the 4th time that Mount Horeb has been invited to the parade, but only the 3rd time they'll attend. First being in 2007 and again in 2016, with their 2021 performance being canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Approximately 200 students, plus an abundance of chaperones, are making the trip to England this year.
We're going to the 40th anniversary performance for the London New Year's Day Parade. We have the band that will march in the New Year's Day Parade, but the choir and orchestra will also do performances in a big, one of those big old fancy churches over there.
Preparations for the trip have been in the works for the past 20 months, from fundraising to logistics and, of course, practice.
We do a lot of practicing at school. We get pulled a lot. We go in the gym and we practice all our marching and all our music and putting that together and learning all the footsteps that everyone's got to go with it.
As one of just under 24 schools in the United States to get the chance to perform at the parade, those in the Mount Horeb community are thrilled that the band is getting the opportunity to represent the village on an international stage.
To have them be able to represent the entire state of Wisconsin at this event just means the world to us.
We're really excited to be representing Mount Horeb and Mount Horeb Music Department for the first time in basically a decade.
Flying out of Chicago later this evening, the Mount Horeb Fire Department and EMS escorted the buses full of travelers through the village as their trip began. Reporting from Mount Horeb, Maya Tate, News 3 Now.
Thanks, Maya. The parade will be airing on the Wisconsin Channel at 7 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. New Year's Day. And the Northeast and parts of the country's midsection weathered a snowstorm that threatened to bring a post-holiday blizzard. CBS News correspondent Allie Bauman has more from New York.
As the winter storm hit overnight, hundreds of flights were canceled or delayed across the Northeast and the Great Lakes. Some travelers were luckier than others. Florida resident Regina Stone landed at New Jersey's Newark International Airport after her flight was canceled.
We just had to rebook, and we took about an hour to figure out how we were going to get here. And we made it.
About 4 inches of snow fell in New York Friday night into early Saturday, which was somewhat below forecast for a bigger storm. Out on Long Island, people are still digging out from the post-Christmas snowfall.
I'm a little surprised because they said that the north side of the island was going to get hit a little bit harder and that we might escape with 4 inches. I think we got like 5 or 6.
Yeah, 7.
7?
Almost 7.
Lucky me.
In Times Square, workers cleared the melting snow and powder-coated streets and sidewalks using shovels and snowblowers.
The city's working pretty well to get all the roads salted and everything, so it's all right.
Peyton Baker and Colby Gray, who were visiting New York from West Virginia on Saturday, said the snow was a Christmas surprise for their 3rd anniversary trip. And in Central Park, people of all ages made the most of the snow once it was clear that the storm had passed. Allie Bauman, CBS News, New York.
Emergency crews worked to contain fires across Kyiv, Ukraine this morning following a massive strike overnight. Officials say at least 1 person is dead and 32 others wounded, including 2 children, as Russia pounded the Ukrainian city for 8 hours. Some 3,000 buildings have already lost heat amid the freezing winter weather. Russia is taking aim at Ukraine's capital just as negotiations are preparing to talk peace in the U.S. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky says he plans to meet with President Donald Trump in Florida tomorrow. When speaking to reporters on Friday, Zelensky could not say whether the meeting would lead to a firm agreement, but indicated that Ukraine may be willing to make significant concessions in order to achieve that peace deal. That includes ceding territory. In return, Russia would withdraw its forces from parts of Ukraine. Ukraine is also asking for security and economic recovery guarantees. At this stage, there is no comment from the Kremlin on where peace talks stand. And as 2025 comes to a close, Americans are voicing negative views about the economy amid ongoing concerns about costs, a topic that looks likely to dominate next year as well. In a new CBS News poll, half surveyed say President Trump's policies make them financially worse off right now, with 45% saying they expect the same in 2026. This is most respondents also say healthcare, food, and housing are either not easy to afford or difficult to afford. And the Trump administration is ramping up pressure on student loan borrowers and will start garnishing wages of those in default in the new year. About 1,000 borrowers are expected to receive notices the week of January 7th, with that number increasing each month. The Education Department said in a statement to the Associated Press that it would begin involuntary collection, quote, only after student and parent borrowers have been provided sufficient notice and opportunity to repay their loans. It was not immediately clear how much of their wages those in default could see garnished. And do you drive a Tesla? If so, you should be aware of U.S. safety regulators are looking into some Tesla Model 3 cars following a complaint. It's about the vehicle's door handles. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration received a report from a driver saying he had to escape through his Tesla through its rear view window after the car caught fire. The complaint says Tesla's mechanical door release is hidden, unlabeled, and not intuitive to locate in the case of an emergency. And when we come back, a check of the forecast and what wintry weather could mean for holiday travel tomorrow. Well, let's get a look at your first warn forecast with meteorologist Blaise Keller. Blaise, these warmer temps we've seen recently, they don't look like they'll be sticking around, sadly.
No, they will not. I would say by about this time tomorrow, we will likely be in the 30s, and then we'll bottom out in about those teens, and that's where we will stay into Monday after climbing into the 40s very briefly on Sunday. Sunday is our alert day as this next low pressure system moves through the area. Mainly Madison and areas north, that's where we're likely going to see over 3 inches of snow. Some folks could see upwards of a half a foot of snow. All of us, though, are going to be dealing with those strong northwesterly winds and the potential for a flash freeze as our temperatures very quickly drop from the 40s to the teens from Sunday to Sunday night. Rain is going to start off first, so if you have to send family or friends home, there will be a little bit of fog, but the precipitation is going to be liquid. So you may want to send them home earlier in the day. Winds are also not going to be as breezy during the morning hours. By the mid to late afternoon, the colder air starts to move on in. Any remaining moisture is going to turn over from rain to a mix and then finally over to snow, and that snow is going to be tossed around with northwesterly winds gusting upwards of 45 to 50 miles per hour overnight through the morning hours on Monday. I wouldn't be surprised if there are any school delays on Monday because if the kids are going back to school because of how cold it's going to be and the breezy conditions and likely the bad road conditions. So make sure you're tuning in Monday for the latest if your kid has to go back to school on Monday. Here's a look at some of those wind gusts. Again, Monday morning and throughout Sunday night. They're going to be gusting upwards of 45 to 50 miles per hour, tossing around the snow. Blowing snow, drifting snow is going to be an issue with temperatures dropping. Road conditions are very quickly going to deteriorate overnight and likely stay bad through Monday morning. You can always find the latest road conditions by heading over to our website underneath the weather section. So this system is really following a very nice path, the almost ideal path that we would want Colorado low to really follow to bring us here across southern Wisconsin, a lot of that snow. It's going to be passing through the Chicagoland area, which means we're going to have southerly winds out ahead of that, winds off of the Lake Michigan, and then turning out of the northwest. When those winds turn out of the northwest, that's when our really heavy snow is going to end. But because of our winds will be out of the south and then off of Lake Michigan, really folks further to the north and west are going to be dealing with likely the higher snow accumulations, upwards of about 6 to 9 inches of snow here in the dark blue. That's north of the Dells, Black River Falls into Eau Claire. That's where we could see localized spots higher than 9 inches. Further south and east, we're looking at probably 1 to 4 inches of snow across southeastern Wisconsin. Because we're going to hold on to that warmth for a little bit longer, we're going to be really struggling to get likely higher than 3 inches of snow. We're going to be watching a couple of things. Is there any dry air? If there is dry air, how long does that last? Because that's going to be undercutting or lessening our snow totals. We're also going to be looking to see when our temperatures finally go from above freezing to freezing and below, because that's when snow can start to form and that's when the snow will start to accumulate. So those factors are going to play into how much snow we do see, but we are fairly confident that probably 1 to 4 inches of snow is likely what we'll make off with for a lot of us come Monday morning. So it is going to be a bit of a cooler, also New Year's Eve. We're looking at clear skies, though, in the single digits.
What's crazy to me is that 45 on Sunday to that 19 you had there in that 10-day forecast, that drastic drop it feels like. But that's not the most we've seen in recent years you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I believe it was February 2024. We went from, Kay, you were probably very happy you weren't here for this. We went from 70 degrees to about 11 in  24 hours.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people probably got sick, too.
I was sick of the weather and her games. But yeah, this is going to be a pretty drastic change, and we'll hang out in the 20s all throughout next week.
Awesome. And Kay, what can we expect next in sports?
Coming up, still ahead, what is going on in Lambeau Field, and what will this matchup look like? Next on News 3 Now. Well, with a battle brewing in Lambeau Field, the Baltimore Ravens have come to Titletown looking to give themselves an opportunity to sneak into the playoffs. But tonight's battle is going to look a little different because the Ravens are without Lamar Jackson due to a back injury. Jackson last game got sacked by Patriots Craig Woodson, leaving him sidelined the rest of the game. While on the Packers side, they're without Jordan Love due to a shoulder injury and a concussion. So what does this mean? I think it looks like a battle of the backup quarterbacks. Packers Malik Willis against Ravens Tyler Huntley. No interceptions for either. Willis with more touchdowns and a higher completion percentage. So all eyes will be on him tonight. And he's no Jordan Love, but he's definitely one heck of a backup. And so many Packers injuries are all about during this game. It's going to be important to see how the Packers adjust if they want to run deep into the playoffs. Now, the Bucs have been struggling in Fiserv and on the road, but all their problems could end tonight as possibly Giannis may return. Giannis has been out for the past 3 weeks with a calf strain, and the Deer have had to battle without him. But Giannis was marked questionable to return in tonight's game against the Bulls. But if he does return, Bobby Portis feels the ride that they've been on will slow.
The roller coaster up and downhill thing, obviously the team's built primarily around him to help him be the best he can be. So, it's going to be great to have him back, whether that's tomorrow or Tuesday or Thursday or whenever it is. So just super excited for it. It's been a long time coming. We ain't had him in like 3 weeks, so definitely need him back.
Well, one thing I will always say about Packers fans is I'm so impressed with this time of year, going out, braving the cold at Lambeau Field. I mean, people are decked out, and I guess it's a good display of support. With all the coats and the
Shirts
hats.
off and everything.
Yeah,
though.
I'm impressed by the Packers fans. Blaze doesn't
Yeah,
seem
I couldn't
to
do it in
go.
this weather. This weather is a no.
It's a need-to-know basis. I don't need to know. I'll never need to know, but I am so glad for them. That is something I will never do, but I can appreciate the courage. And
Oh, the
it's something
courage.
I
How
will never
beautiful.
have. We got alert day conditions tomorrow. Again, folks, if you've got to send friends or family home, I would do it sooner rather than later on Sunday, or just take another day off and go home sometime Monday. This system moves through overnight, especially Sunday into Monday, turning that rain over to a rain-snow mix. Winds gusting upwards of 50 miles per hour will send temperatures down from 45 in the afternoon to 15 overnight. So a 30-degree temperature drop in about 12 hours. We hang out in the teens on Monday, most of us picking up 1 to 4 inches of snow come Monday afternoon.
30-degree temperature drop.
That's
all I'm thinking about.
Thank you for staying with us.